Hey, what's up, YouTube fam? Want to get on here. It's a little late tonight. Got everything taken care of. A little bit sound asleep, doing well. And I really felt compelled to get back on here because I just have something really unsettled inside me that I really would like to talk about. And it's something I hope my boy Ethan, my little man. Love you. Love you, Ethan. Love you so much. I know you're probably going to be watching this. Ethan's my 8-year-old, and he is my rock. And when he says something, boy, does it go right there. I'm telling you. Love you. Love you, buddy. And also Megan. And, of course, Megan. Absolutely. You know, Megan is she is the fruit of the earth. At least in my world, if not everybody else's that ever meets her. And yeah, so I want to get on here and talk about things that I have prevailed in my life that I've been very proficient, and I would dare anybody to say that I I would say that I would probably be of the top 10 that you can possibly imagine in those talents. As far as in our circle, in my life, as people that I know, um, yes, there are people better than you're always going to find something better. But I'm talking about people that I've interacted with. And and I've gotten such motivation from people that I found online at talents that's made me even better than I was before. So you always have room for growth. So I'm not getting on here being arrogant. I'm just talking about how I've obtained what I've obtained in my lifetime. And everybody says, "Oh, yeah, I do a lot of different stuff. It's a vlog channel. Y'all see me doing a lot of different things that showcases a lot of my talents." And they're like, "Man, what do you don't do?" Well, let me just showcase some of the things I'm my best at. I'm getting to a point here, guys. Please stick with me. Okay? This is not me being arrogant. I promise you. Stick to the end. Okay? Method to the madness. Believe it or not. Um, Tenacity seeks gold. And it always does. And that's my vision. My dad has always told me, yeah, I didn't always look up to some of the things my dad did. You know, he was a very hard worker. Looked up to that. He had a high temper. I mean, I was born with it as well. Um, how he handled his temper might have been from his upbringing, and the way we got through it was hard knocks. Um, but my dad always told me, he says, if you feel like you can jump from here to the moon and you say you can't, you can't. It's plain and simple. Those are the words right there. I'll never forget that. I don't know how old I was, but I was definitely preteen for sure. I know I was absolutely under the shut up. I was under the age of 10 because 9 years old is when things started going down with my mom and my dad. But and y'all probably heard that story, me talking about it, his accident and everything. Getting beyond that, I was probably in the realm of 6 or 7 years old. Never forgot it. And you can, with tenacity, seek gold. You can do anything you want to do. And not saying you're going to stand here and you're going to leap completely up to the moon, but there's tools that get you there. And like I always say, the 7 P's: proper prior preparation prevents you from piss poor performance, and that's a fact. All right. So let's get into my mentors. This is why I know I've been around my surroundings as good, if not better, than anybody that I know. For one, let's get into TIG welding, my fabrication, my manual machining, and being able to create parts and perform to my utmost ability. Can I perform to my utmost ability now as to what I was at my best performance? Well, two things right there. One, yes, I can with given the right tools. And two, my eyesight isn't as good up close as it used to be. My I've noticed this with my artwork. My hands aren't quite as steady. Quite as steady. They're still good enough to do the job, but they're not quite where they used to be. And I think that has to also do with fatigue and hand-eye coordination when doing it every day. That said, I wouldn't want to be an artist every day because I think I would hate it. I do it on my own terms and I love it when I want to do it. When I feel compelled, and I feel not compelled really, but when I feel inspired, that's when I do my best work at art, is when I feel inspired. That's, for lack of a better term. Now, that is the best term, actually. I'm talking about compelled is lack of a better term. So I'm getting ahead of myself. There was a lot of people I used to race sprint cars with. It was just another topic in this that told me time and time again, and it wasn't telling me this because I would help them out. I would hook them up. I would take care of them. I would weld things up on their cars and anything that they needed taken care of. I took care of them, and they told me that I'm the best in Shreveport anywhere around that they've ever met. But I heard that over and over again. When I left Metro Aviation, I was there 10 years. I was their only TIG welder, pretty much manual machinist at that point, and I fabricated all the parts and I laid everything out. I did all that, and all the drawings were my own, and I submitted it to a revision, and that was FAA and PMA certified revision. When I left, I took all that with me. Well, not all of it, but a lot of what I revised went with me. And to this day, I still get contact from that people within that company saying there's never been anybody they've had that's done as well a job as taking care of everything that needed to be taken care of. And now they have 5 people doing the job of what I did. And they're still maintaining the same amount of aircraft. Okay, so let's move on. Let's get away from that. Let's just say, all right, that's one thing. All right, we'll go back into the art and sketching. Y'all see my drawings. Y'all see what I do. And my portraits and stuff like that. Am I the best at it? I feel like I'm pretty damn good at it. But am I the best at it? I see people on Portrait Sketch, for example, on YouTube, inspired me to be better. Improved my skills completely over the past, since 2014. I've been following and watching him. He's an amazing artist. He's better than me. He absolutely is. But I don't think there's anyone in my circle that I've ever met that does as good as I did, and that can be attested by the art gallery that I had shown my work in. So let's go back into the racing realm. I'm talking about mentors here. Now, going back to mentors, I have several mentors in art and stuff like that. And one of them was, as I aforementioned, the portrait artist. I'm not better than him. I don't think I am anyway. Some people might say, hey, your style might be better. I don't know. But I learned a lot from him. So, but let's go back into racing, and I had a lot of mentors in there that I never beat. But there was a lot of mentors I had, and I came in there with a low budget, and they had so many thousands of dollars. And my racing buddies can attest to this. I did that for 10 years, 10 seasons, actually. And I off and on, because I was raised up in a racing background. I was way in, my dad did it, my uncle did it, my papa, he owned a racetrack. Then my uncle reopened that racetrack years later, and I helped work on it, and I raced go karts at the same time at a local go kart track. That's where I got my feet wet, and then I started building my own stuff, and I graduated trade school, got a certificate. Actually, there's college credits involved in that as well. Never got the degree, so don't get that confused. But I do have college hours, so I could go back at any time I wanted to. But one thing I've learned is I'm smarter to know the things I don't want to do than the things I want to do. Does that make any sense to y'all? All right, I appreciate it if it does, because it does to me. But going back to the racing, I got very good at that on a very, very low budget, but I used my own crafts and skills to also manipulate and save money in my racing where I couldn't spend on it because I was able to make some of my own parts to keep my car going. So naturally, with that said, I studied every single thing I could possibly do: ounces, weights, pounds, everything, my own body, physically, you know, changing my body to be able to adapt to that car to where I was one with that car to make it as fast and consistent and possibly as I could possibly be, and be in that car and getting zoned out. And I wasn't thinking about nothing. It was just like you're just like in a zone, and you're hitting your mark every single time. Every single time you're passing cars you shouldn't be passing. That's where tenacity comes in, because I sure didn't have the dollars to do it. I was passing cars that had way more money than I had virtually no sponsorship. And they had all these big monies in these big enclosed trailer haulers with carrying 2 or 3 cars for backup. And here I am in an open hauler carrying only the vital necessities. And I was able to accomplish what I was able to accomplish doing that. That is an accomplishment. That is an testament, because one, I built my own engines, and they were not near to the performance of those higher $10,000, $20,000 engines. When I had $300 or $400 in my engine when I bought it, and then I ultimately upgraded a little bit what I could possibly do. And I was still on carburation. They were still on these big Gould injection, $10,000 injection systems, when they had another $10,000 in their engines, and they were bored 3 millimeter over. And I had nothing but stock, bone stock, everything, stock ignition, and with a little modification to my carburetors, a little modification to the head, and just a few other things that I could possibly manage to extract to make the best of that engine. With in ounces, ounces make pounds. You always got to think about that. And every ounce is free horsepower. And you have a lot of different factors in racing that you have to optimize every single one of them to make the very best of what you can absolutely make the best for that. And parasitic loss, with using I forget the name of, there was a vacuum in the engine that we used, and it was a right from the all right, that don't even matter. I can't think of the name right now. I lost that part, so don't let me get derailed. All right, so let's get out of racing for a matter, and let's go into there was other things like darts, pool, yo-yo. I got really good into acrobatics. I actually was very proficient in that as well. But I didn't excel at any of those, but I just got good at them because I enjoyed them. They were a hobby. Okay, that's what I call a hobby. But weightlifting, okay, I got introduced in weightlifting early on in my teen years, and while I was in high school, and I found out I was pretty daggone good at it because genetically I had the gift. And so there was several years, especially during my racing, that I just did cardio. I didn't do very much weightlifting whatsoever. But when I got out of the racing scene, and when I'm talking about racing, I'm talking about dirt track sprint car racing. I'm talking about highly competitive to the edge performance. But when I got done with that, I started working out with my neighbor, which was a personal trainer and a professional bodybuilder for that matter. And he started training me. And he said, you don't need anything to get you. You are the optimum person. You had the best symmetric build for a bodybuilder. You had the height, you had the weight, you had the build, you have the shoulders, you have the legs. Everything is symmetrically right genetically for you to become a really great natural bodybuilder. No steroids, no nothing. He encouraged me and made me what I got to be in bodybuilding. And later on, he stopped training me. He says, "Man, you're on your own now. There's nothing I can give you." And then I got certified and I started personal training people. And yeah, I got to where I was bench pressing 500 pounds, but I felt like crap all the time because I hurt all the time. When you get to that level, that strength level, your body hurts all the time. Every week, not just having to lift and maintain that, but you hurt from your joints. And you got to also remember, when you get that strong, you have to warm up before you do anything because you're that strong. In my job, and I was an industrial mechanic, I would go out and work something and I would tug on something. At my strength level, I would hurt something because I didn't warm it up, because of the strength level I was applying to whatever I was yanking on. It happened to me time and time again, and it was very, very bad. But let me go into my younger years. Martial arts. It's also, I went around to come back around. Martial arts and boxing. I was very gifted in that. And I was a white belt beating black belts in tournaments because of my earlier training. I was in martial arts since I was 9 years old. And then I had a break from it. And I got back into it. So I already had that knowledge. And Bruce Lee was my mentor, of course. You know, you got to love Bruce Lee growing up, right? I don't care what you think about whether he was the best or anything like that. On screen, he was definitely the best. But the dude was very skilled. But yeah, so I was very gifted in that. And I had a lot of mentors. And then later on, I was able to get into a sparring match and show my mentors what's up, for real. So now this leads me to what I wanted to really bring this video up about. The heat community, the spice. Who is my mentor starting this? Well, really, honestly, I was my mentor starting this because in my family, I have a natural heat tolerance. And nobody in my family has that actual natural, without doing any spice, heat tolerance. No, I can't get in there without anything and just go popping Carolina Reapers. But a habanero has never been a problem for me. Naturally, without any training whatsoever, never has a habanero really ever lit me up. It's been hot, yes. I can definitely taste it. So that got me into learning more about it. I was interested. I had a very intense want to know, so to speak. So that got me to watching, and this was a few years ago, before I ever, of course I had videos on YouTube clear back from 2012, whatever it was, when I was weightlifting. But I didn't have really a channel back then. I really wasn't interested in the channel. I just uploaded it. I was more or less putting videos on Facebook, pretty much wasting time. Because, yeah, some of my family enjoyed watching some of it and stuff like that, but there's really no audience. Let's get real, guys. On Facebook, you really don't have no audience unless you have loyal followers of 5,000. That's your limit, okay? So it's a waste of time. All right, and I'm not talking about being monetized. Forget that. Don't worry even about that. I'm talking about the entertainment value. All right, so the heat. So I started watching more of YouTube. And I'll be honest with you, I had several interests, and I like delving in different whiskeys and stuff like that because I like to have a good sip every once in a while. Again, I don't overdo it. I have overdone it. I have. But I've controlled that. But I would watch videos that showed me some of the people taste testing whiskeys and this, that, and the other and stuff, and for volume, for value, and stuff like that. And I'd get this little pop up at the bottom of somebody doing peppers, and I'd be like, "Daggone, I do like some peppers, man. Let me see what's up. What's up with the peppers?" It was old Chase the Heat, Johnny Scoville. I give him total props, man, for me ever really starting to do this on YouTube. It is fact. It is a fact. I do not, I'm going to get on here publicly and tell you, I do not hate that man. I do not. I have had a long-standing relationship, as many of you have, but I just don't like how things have been handled recently. And that's where my standpoint is on that. And whether you do or don't support him after this and stuff like that, what's been going on in the Heat community, man, if you're, like I told you, if you're my homie, I got you back. Do I get on and do I order his products from aforementioned video and stuff like that? No, I haven't been. Have I been getting on to his videos? Oh, some videos I do watch, and I don't get on there religiously. I have been watching some videos, and my kids, especially my little girl Megan, loves watching Johnny Scoville. It is a fact. So I'm not asking people to hate the guy at all. I hope in his family everything is okay. As far as Tommy's channel goes, I do. I think it was explained that he said he did something else as far as leaning over and stuff like that. Man, that's not my. I'm not in on that. I'm not in on any of that, whether he did or didn't. But I do want to get on here and say that I publicly apologize for making a joke about it, because that part right there. I don't follow that. I don't even follow his channel. As far as I used to follow his channel because I was supporting, just to help support. But to what they're in there talking about all the time and stuff like that, I don't have any dog in that fight, because it's not my dog to put in that fight, because I've never been involved in that. Sobriety and stuff like that, as far as opiates and stuff like that. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. No, I will never admit to being perfect. I just try to do the best I can possibly be the best I can possibly do, the best I could possibly do. With that said, that's just kind of where I am on all that. And now that, like I said before, my kids are watching what I'm doing. And when I'm mad on there, they don't appreciate that. Definitely. I think it hurts them. So, yeah, so I've just, but if anybody gets on there and bullies and hurts my friends, I'm going to step up and I'm going to be right there with them the whole way. And if they have a hard time through this, I'm going to be right there with them as well. But do I hate anybody? I don't hate anybody. And the only time I'm going to ever hate anybody is when you got to watch out, because your life is in danger. Because that means you've done something to my children or my other family. And it means it's something very important. That aside, no, I don't. I can like and dislike and this, that, and the other, but I hate. No. It's not. It's not in this house. And judgment, I leave that to the man upstairs on everything. So I'm not the judge. I'm not the executioner. Unless somebody molests my children, then I probably would turn into executioner. And I think a lot of people might. Some people would agree. Some would disagree. Because some people don't agree with taking the law in your own hands and eye for an eye, and that being your decision. They think they need to leave that, and then I say, no, I think here on earth, if that happens, I'm going to take that in my own hands, and then I'll leave their soul to the Lord to decide. All right, y'all.